Hello, this is the Provoked Prawn, and this is the Corsair Void RGB Elite wireless gaming headset. This is an unboxing video to talk to you about what's in the box, what this headset's like out of the box, various specs and features that make it interesting, and how it compares with other headsets in the Corsair range. And it's worth noting before we get started that the voiceover that you're hearing now is recorded with the microphone from this headset to give you an idea of what the quality of that is like straight out of the gate. Now this is actually a fairly interesting headset, an update to the Void range that sits above the Void Pro but below the Corsair Virtuoso, which is Corsair's high fidelity high-res gaming headset that I reviewed and unboxed recently and thought very highly of. Now, I didn't think too much of the previous Corsair Void RGB wireless. The sound quality was really good, as is the case with this headset as well actually, but there are a number of different design aspects to it that made me think it was a bit meh. And some of them carry on to this headset, unfortunately. However, it is nice to look at, and there are a number of things that are worth knowing. So the Void Elite has a higher frequency response rate than the Void Pro, so if you're interested, you're curious about how it stacks up with the other headsets, I will do a versus video to compare them in more depth. But on a basic level, it has the same 50mm drivers as the Void Pro. It has a battery life of up to 16 hours and the same 40 feet 12 meter range over wireless using the accompanying dongle. However, it does have a higher frequency response. This one's capable of up to 30,000 Hz, whereas the Void Pro wireless was only capable of 20,000. And it's worth noting that the Corsair Virtuoso over wireless does 40,000, so you can see the difference in the potential frequency response and therefore some of the audio quality experience that you get between the various headsets. This one is white and it comes with a sort of plastic metal mix and the mesh fiber ear cups, which I'll show you in a bit more depth later on. It comes with a standard non-braided micro USB charging cable. Fortunately micro USB, I don't know why they've not moved to USB-C with this. And it is quite short at just 1.5 meters as well, so you don't get a terrible amount of length out of it. Another thing to note is that it is quite chunky in its plastic design, and that's a similar problem that I have with the dongle. Now, this is the wireless dongle that you get, and taking a quick look at it, you'll immediately note that it's quite a bit larger than the slipstream wireless dongle that comes with the various Corsair mice and keyboards that I've looked at recently. It is similar size and design to the original Void Pro USB dongle, and that is problematic in some ways. I had issues, for example, getting it in the back of my case, sitting it alongside all the other USB things that are plugged in. Minor gripe though, it is a pretty decent dongle that has a good range on it. Quick pause for the peel. And apologies for making a bit of a hash of it. Now, the headset itself has a similar design to the Void Pro, and that is pretty easy on the eye. It is pitched as a premium wireless gaming headset, and the design itself looks pretty premium. I don't think it feels as good a quality, but it is a reasonably affordable headset and relatively comfortable. It doesn't clamp to your head. However, it does fit quite loosely, and I'll talk about that in a bit more depth in the review. And it has these mesh ear cup stylings to them, which are certainly more comfortable than the Virtuoso, which I found crushed my ears after a very short period of time and became quite uncomfortable. Now, on the outside you have the power button for turning it on and off. It's also worth noting quickly that it has an auto shutdown feature to save battery life, and the mic mute button. It also has a flip to mute microphone, which I'll show you a bit later on. And you can also press and hold those various buttons for different reasons, as well as the volume control button underneath. So for example, a quick tap on the microphone button will mute and unmute the microphone, but if you press and hold it, you can turn side tone on and off as well, which is pretty neat. Now, as I said, the microphone is being used now for the voiceover, and it's, as you can see, a fairly capable, not too shabby. It does, however, pick up a lot of the environmental noise and broadcast that into the headset. It does come with this wind filter though that you can use, but I'm sitting here talking to you doing this video and I can hear the background noise in the room, the environmental noise of like my fans on my PC for example, coming through the microphone and into the headset. You can obviously mute the microphone if that's a problem, but it could be an annoyance. So if it's really quiet in the environment and you hear a light hiss, it's probably from the microphone. Could turn the volumes down and adjust that within the IQ software, something worth playing around with, or using the wind filter. But I wanted to show you what the quality of the microphone is like straight out of the box without any messing about. So this is default settings, and I won't remove any noise from the recording either, so you get an idea of what that's like. You see it has a nice padded headband. It's not an extendable headband, but it's large enough and it bends. It's quite flexible, so you get a reasonable fit on whatever size head you've got. It's not going to be clamping to it or causing any grief. As I said, the ear cups are slightly larger and slightly more comfortable than the Virtuoso. However, these are fibre mesh ear cups. They are not the faux leather ear cups that the Virtuoso had, and so you probably get a bit more noise bleed than you did with that headset. That was sort of semi-noise cancelling, whereas this one isn't really. However, the ear cups are removable on this one, which I'll show you in a second. I do not really like this mesh fibre, though. I found it uncomfortable on the Void Pro. I find it a bit scratchy on my face. It's just a personal preference. On my face and on my ears, I find it a bit scratchy. And I feel the same with the Elite as I did with the Void Pro when I looked at that. You can see on the inside it has the covering over the 50mm drivers and a slight bit of faux leather on the inside, perhaps to help with the blocking external noise a little bit. It doesn't do a great deal of blocking. However, as I said, the ear cups are removable, so you could perhaps replace them with other ear cups if you so wished, or at least get them off for a clean. And here you can see the 50mm drivers underneath. And you see there's quite a good shape and size to these ear cups. They do fit nicely over my ears. There's certainly not any problems with comfort during use so far, and if you've experienced the Void Pro, then you're going to get a similar experience with the Elite. So if you like the Pros, you'll definitely like the Elite. Better sound quality and slight design enhancements, but very minor enhancements and tweaks. Now, as I said, these buttons on the side, you can press them and get different commands out of them, but pressing the mic button, for example, turns the mic on and off, and you actually get an audible warning in the headset to let you know what's happening as well. So pressing the mic mute button, for example, says mic off, mic on in a lady's voice, and you do the same effect with flipping the microphone as well. And you'll note there's a red ring around the mic that lets you know when it's muted and when it's unmuted, so you can tell. And obviously you can turn side tone on and off so you can hear your own voice, and you can do that by pressing and holding the mic mute button or within the IQ software. And you can adjust side tone levels as well to adjust how much of your own voice you're hearing, depending on whether you like hearing it or whether you feel it's essential to stop you shouting, and that's obviously going to vary depending on your environment as well. Now there's a volume wheel underneath, which I'll show you in a second. That also can be used by pressing it in, and pressing and holding that turns the surround sound on and off, and you can also press it in once and that switches between the different EQ settings within the IQ software. And if you want more information on that and to see how that works, be sure to subscribe and come back for the review, so I'll go into a bit more depth on that. Right, you can see here what I was talking about, and some of the elements of this headset feel a bit cheap. This volume button, for example, sort of flits around a little bit and doesn't feel that high quality. It's nice to have an easy access volume control on the headset itself though, and as I said, a single press which is between the various EQ presets. You have pure direct, movie theatre, FPS competition, clear chat and bass boost, and you can add extra ones and then customize them to your preference as well within the IQ software. And you have the Dolby Headphone 7.1 virtual surround sound as well. There's a good bit of flex to the ear cups. They turn and bend nicely, but as I said, the headband itself doesn't extend. There's a little bit of wobble in it. The quality again is questionable. However, I do feel like it's a good build quality. It's not going to fall apart in the hands. However, it does flollop around a little bit too much sometimes, and I think if you do aggressive movements with your head, you might find the headset falls off. Example is I looked down at my dog to see what he was doing because he was up to some mischief, and the headset nearly fell off my head. That's obviously going to vary depending on the size of your head and the fit on your head as well, and not necessarily an issue if you're just chilling out watching films, streaming Netflix, working, or playing games, which is what the main thing is going to be. And you do have a good range on it. I've tested it out a little bit already. I'll go into a bit more depth in the review, but as I said, you get a 40-meter range on it. I've managed to get through a few rooms and not have the audio break up. When it does, you get a little warning. Other warnings you also get is auto shutdown. So after a while of not being used, the headset will start to shut down. If you're not talking, it's not picking up your microphone, or if you're not getting any audio playback from anything, it will auto shut down after a little while to save battery life. And you can get 16 hours of battery life out of this. Obviously that's going to depend on the RGB lighting that you've got on the sides. You can see some RGB lighting on the Corsair logo then, and how much you're using it, volume, use, and other things like that. There's no docking or anything for charging though. It's all done via the micro USB cable, so you need to make sure you plug it in when you're not using it when you want to get charged. And obviously you can plug it in and use it when you want to if you're running low on battery. All in all, it's not a bad headset. It's a decent price. I'll go into a bit more depth in the review on this, give you my feelings on it, and obviously I'm going to compare it with the original Void Pro in a bit more depth too. But generally speaking, this is a good headset from Corsair, just with some comfort and quality issues. Thanks for watching.
This has been the Provoked Prawn. Hope you found this video useful, interesting, or hilarious. Be sure to subscribe and check out these other videos, as well as taking a look in the description for links and other information you might find useful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or anything you'd like to see extra about this, and have a great life.